Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. It is Tuesday. Give me a second to plug my headphones into the Chromebook. All right. Now you should be able to hear me. Let some people come in and then I'll get started. So I do have Facebook open. I have YouTube open. So I'm very thankful to my sister for letting me borrow her Chromebook for now. Because it makes it easier for me to do my live streams on separate devices and not on my phone. So, okay, Lily. So, if you're new here, welcome. This is an AA meeting. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Um, please be mindful of others and don't harass them or pass judgment or any of those rude things. Thank you, Lily. Um, it is a meeting, so please just be respectful of others in the chats, whichever side you're chatting on. But feel free to chat. If you don't want to, I understand. Um, People are private like that when it comes to AA or NA or anything like that. So I completely understand. Just at least hit the thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell because I go live 3 times a week. I go live Tuesday mornings, like right now. And then on YouTube, I do my adventures on Tuesday mornings after Ava Potterfield and Friends. And then on Sundays, I go live again for AA meetings at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. With the Serenity Prayer, and then I'll get into reading what we're reading. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I also put in the description, not on Facebook, unfortunately today. I don't think, anyways. I do put it in the description. I put it in the page, the chapter, and uh, all that stuff. So, 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. I see you there. Thank you for being here, Brandy. It was great to see you yesterday. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continue to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood it, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. We did too. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So today we are in the big book, chapter 3, More About Alcoholism, page 30. If you don't have a book, it's alright. I'm gonna read it anyways, so just listen if you'd like. It's something in my eyeball. Gotta be able to see. Okay, more about alcoholism. Most of us have been unwilling to admit we were real alcoholics. No person likes to think he is bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people. The idea that somehow, someday, he will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The pretenses of the illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people, or presently, maybe, has to be smashed. We, sorry, we alcoholics are men and women who have lost the ability to control our drinking. We know that no real alcoholic ever recovers control. All of us felt at times that we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, were inevitably followed by still less control, which led in time to fitful and incomprehensible demoralization. We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our type are in the grip of a progressive illness. Over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. We are like men who have lost their legs. They never grow new ones. Neither does there appear to be any kind of treatment which will make alcoholics of our children or of our kind like other men. We have tried every imaginable remedy. In some instances there has been brief recovery, followed always by a still worse relapse. Physicians who are familiar with alcoholism agree there is no such thing as making a normal drinker out of an alcoholic. Science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet. Despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics are not going to believe they are in that class. By every form of self-deception and experimentation, they will try to prove themselves ex- ex- exceptions to the rule. Therefore, non-alcoholics. If anyone who is showing inability to control his drinking can do the right about face, and drink like a gentleman. Our hats are off to him. Heaven knows we have tried hard enough and long enough to drink like other people. Here are some methods we have tried. Drinking beer only, limiting the number of drinks, never drinking alone, never drink in the morning, drinking only at home, never having it in the house, never drinking during business hours, drinking only at parties, switching from scotch to brandy, drinking only natural wines, agreeing to resign if ever drunk on the job, taking a trip, not taking a trip, swearing off forever with and without a solemn oath, taking more physical exercise, reading inspirational books, going to health farms and sanitariums, ex- accepting voluntary commitment to asylums. We should increase the list ad infinitive, whatever that word is. We do not like to pronounce any individual as alcoholic, but you can quickly diagnose yourself. Step over to the nearest bar room and try some controlled drinking. Try to drink and stop abruptly. Try it more than once. It will not take long for you to decide if you are honest with yourself about it. It may be worth a bad case of jitters if you get a full knowledge of your condition. I had to get a drink of my soda. I'm not sponsored by or affiliated with Coca-Cola products. So there is no way of proving it. We believe that early in our drinking careers, most of us could have stopped drinking. But the difficulty is that few alcoholics have enough desire to stop while there is yet time. We have heard of a few instances where people who showed definite signs of alcoholism were able to stop for a long period because of an overpowering desire to do so. Here is one. A man of 30 was doing a great deal of spree drinking. He was very nervous in the morning after these bouts and quieted himself with more liquor. He was ambitious to succeed in business, but saw that he would get nowhere if he drank at all. Once he started, he had no control whatever. Copper, that is annoying. Copper, that's annoying. He goes back to it. What a butt. He made up his mind that until he had been successful in business and had retired, he would not touch another drop. An exceptional man. He remained bone dry for 25 years and retired at the age of 55 after a successful and happy business career. Then he fell victim to a belief which practically every alcoholic has. that his long period of sobriety and self-discipline had qualified him to drink as other men. Out came his slippers, carpet slippers and a bottle. In 2 months he was in a hospital, plus puzzled and humiliated. He tried to regulate his drinking oh, sorry, regulate his drinking for a while, making several trips to the hospital meantime. Then, gathering all his forces, he attempted to stop altogether and found he could not. Every means of solving Sorry about the viewer. Just a second. Gotta plug it in. There we go. There we go. Every means of solving his problems, which money could buy, was at his disposal. Every attempt failed. Though a robust man at retirement, he went to pieces quickly and was dead within 4 years. This case contains a powerful lesson. Most of us have believed that if we remained sober for a long stretch, we could thereafter drink normally. But here is a man who at 55 years found he was just where he had left off at 30. We have seen the truth demonstration again and again. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Commencing to drink after a period of sobriety, we are in a short time as bad as ever. If we are planning to stop drinking, there must be no reservations of any kind, nor any lurking notion that someday we will be immune to alcohol. Young people may be encouraged by this man's experience to think that they can stop as he did on their own willpower. We doubt if any of them can do it because none will really want to stop, and hardly ready hold on and hardly one of them, because of the bacillar mental twist already acquired, will find he can win out. Several of our crowd, men of 30 or less, had been drinking only a few years, but they found themselves as helpless as those who had been drinking 20 years. My neck hurts. This case contains a powerful lesson. Most of us have believed that if we remain sober for a long stretch, I already read that part. There I am. To be gravely affected, one does not necessarily have to drink at a long time, nor take the quantity some of us have. This is particularly true of women. Potential female alcoholics often turn into the real thing and are gone beyond recall in a few years. Certain drinkers who would be greatly insulted if called alcoholic are astonished at their inability to stop. We who are familiar with the symptoms see large numbers of potential alcoholics among young people everywhere, but try and get them to see it. As we look back, we feel we had gone on drinking many years beyond the point where we could quit on our own, on our will power. If anyone questions whether he has entered this dangerous area, let him try leaving liquor alone for 1 year. If he is a real alcoholic and very far advanced, there is scant chance of success. In the early days of drinking, we occasionally remained sober for a year or more, becoming serious drinkers again later. So you may be able to stop for a considerable period. You may yet be a potential alcoholic. We think few to whom this book will appeal can stay dry anything like a year. Some will be drunk by the day after making this resolution, most of them within a few weeks. Oh, my neck, killing me. For those who are unable to drink moderately, the question is how to stop altogether. We're assuming, of course, that the reader desires to stop. Whether such a person can quit upon a non-spiritual basis depends upon the extent to which he has already lost the power to choose whether he will drink or not. Many of us felt that we had plenty of character. There was a tremendous urge to cease forever, yet we found it impossible. This is the baffling feature of alcoholism as we know it. This utter inability to leave it alone, no matter how great the necessity or the wish. How then shall we help our readers determine to their own satisfaction whether they are one of us? The experiment of quitting for a period of time will be hopeful, but we think we can render an even greater service to alcoholic sufferers and perhaps to the medical fertility. So we shall describe some of the mental states that people or that precede a relapse into drinking, for obviously this is the crux of the problem. What sort of thinking dominates an alcoholic who repeats time after time the desperate experiment of the first drink? Friends who have had friends who have reasoned with him after a spree which has brought him to the point of divorce or bankruptcy are mystified when he walks directly into a saloon. Why does he? Or what is he thinking? Our first example is a friend we shall call Jim. This man has a charming wife and family. He inherited a lucrative automobile agency. He had a commendable World War record. He is a good salesman. Everybody likes him. He is an intelligent man, normal so far as we can see, except for a nervous disposition. He did no drinking until he was 35. In a few years, he became a violent or became so violent when intoxicated that he had to be committed. On leaving the asylum, he came into contact with us. Oh, I think I'm going to stop there for today. I guess I could read the next one and then be done for today. We told him what we knew of alcoholism and the answer we had found. He made a beginning. His family was reassembled, and he began to work as a salesman for a business he had lost through drinking. All went well for a time, but he failed to enlarge his spiritual life. To his concentration, he found himself drunk half a dozen times in rapid succession. On each of these occasions we worked with him, reviewing carefully what had happened. He agreed or he agreed he was a real alcoholic and in a serious condition. He knew he faced another trip to the asylum if he kept on. Moreover, he would lose his family for whom he had a deep affection. So like I said, um, I I can vouch for this story because I did do it for a year. I was sober for a year, and I thought, okay, I've been so. First of all, I started drinking when I was a teenager, but I could control it back then. And the same as when I got into my 20s. But when I hit 30, I went down the hill. Um, I had fought off being an alcoholic with knowing that I could potentially still become that alcoholic, which I did. And so I almost lost my whole family. And so I ended up getting stitches in my eye, got code red called on me 3 times at the hospital that night. And they had asked if my husband wanted them to keep me for 72 hours or whatever it was, 24 hours, I don't know. But after that night, I think I had one more drink day. And after that, I was like, I cannot keep drinking, and so I quit. I had quit drinking, and for a year, I stayed away from the alcohol. I avoided those aisles in the stores. I didn't go in the liquor store. I didn't go in the bars. And we moved to Washington, up at Goldendale, and we went to the liquor store to get cigarettes or something like that in Dallas. And I saw them make a drink of Jack and Coke, my favorite drink. And so I bought it. I had it in my refrigerator for a couple of months, I want to say. And then I decided, okay, it's been long enough. I've been without the alcohol long enough. I can go ahead and try to drink one. One was the idea. Just one. And that one did it in for me. I went back out drinking just as I had been before. if not the same amount, a little more. And so I stayed on that vendors or those vendors for quite a while. And then we moved to Southern Oregon. And November 15th of 2014, I quit drinking. Now, mind you, I had quit drinking without being around my family. I only had two friends, I thought were friends anyway, and off grid. So, and we were on a budget of $1,000 a month. You don't make it very well after that. Anyway, so I quit drinking and we came back to Portland for a while, and then we got jobs, the same job. So I had my part of the job and he had his part of the job, and we were busy. And so I made sure to tell my boss, this was my actual first full-time job. Yeah, it was seasonal, but yeah, I was still making full-time hours. And so I was excited to have that job. And I did tell my boss at the time, I said, I'm a recovering alcoholic. And I got another sponsor from working on that mountain, Judy. I miss her a lot. She passed away back in December. Anyway, so I did tell them that I was recovering alcoholic. And, you know, since then, I really don't hide that fact because I'm proud to be recovering. I'm proud to not be still drinking. In other words, I'm glad to be sober and having a sober life. I still have my attitude, I still get pissed off. I get mad. I get upset. I cry happy tears and sad tears, and I'm just a normal human being without the alcohol. The alcohol made me like 50 times worse. To my family, the people I love the most, and to myself. I was mean to myself, put myself through drinking the alcohol and wasting my life away and having my family watch me do it. And, I was so oblivious to them knowing that I was drinking because I stayed away from everybody. But that's how they figured it out because I was isolating myself. I wouldn't go anywhere because I was getting drunk. That was my daily routine. Drunk all day. I didn't sleep. I'd pass out for a while, but I didn't sleep. You don't really get a good night's sleep until you quit. When you quit, then you get the rest that your body is craving. Yeah, it's hard to go through those withdrawals from the alcohol. It is hard thing. I went through them, I had my husband and my son with me, but I went through those withdrawals with no help except for them. And they watched me go through it, they helped me through it, and I couldn't be more thankful to them. And then when we moved back up here to Portland, I was still sober, but I was still dealing with the fact I feel like I could go for a drink. I really want to go for a drink. But I also at that time had a little bundle of joy that was coming that was going to be a huge part of my life. And that is my goddaughter. She is another reason I am still sober. I'm sober as many years as she is old. And to me, I'm so proud to be the recovering alcoholic and not the alcoholic who still suffers. Nothing against the alcoholic who still suffers. They still need to come to the terms with themselves that they are an alcoholic and that they need help. And it's never easy to ask for that help. Um, But my friend and I hadn't seen my friend for like 20 years, something like that. And so he said, there's an AA meeting. You want to meet me at the AA meeting? I was like, sure. I knew about AA, but I didn't plan on anything working. Well, it worked and it stuck. And I am still sober. My sister came in 8 months after me. I was nagging her after I started AA. Then my sponsor's like, don't nag her. She will come when she's ready. So my sister came and she was apparently ready because she's still sober right alongside me. And but learning the things from AA that I've learned, the things that I help my sponsees with, I have my sister who I am a sponsor to. But I am who she feels safe talking to about everything. So that's the only reason why. And I don't pass judgment on her because I've had my flaws and my mistakes and, stuff like that and troubles in everyday life. But you should get a sponsor because they're there to help you with those struggles and those bad days when you really need somebody to talk to because you're struggling with the thought of going to get that drink or anything else like that. You should really get a sponsor. I got my sponsor the second meeting, and it's because she answered her phone and nobody else did. And I was calling to find out when the next meeting was. And I thank you for that so very much. And I'm thankful that you're still here with me on my sobriety journey. And I'm only 3 years younger than you, I think, but you have helped me so much and taught me so much of how to help others, just the way you have helped me. And I really do appreciate you and the AA fellowship for being there and guiding me through this sobriety journey and teaching me that I do have a voice and I need to use it. And that's why I use it here. I feel I can reach more people this way. And really, you can leave my live stream now. You don't come into an AA meeting and say that. Thank you, Ava. But yeah, I just know that because it's an AA meeting, you don't speak that way in here. We don't want to enjoy a glass of liquor. Rude. Goodbye. Block him, guys. Or gals, I should say. Come in here and say that a nice glass of liquor would be good. Stupid fool. Anyways, um, but yeah, I did it. I mean, I went back out and I drank, and I tell you, I did not start off, like I did when I was 30. I didn't go slow. I mean, I was straight on it the second time around, and I I didn't care that I had gone back to drinking very shortly after I did, and it didn't. I didn't just drink one the first time I drank. So my biggest mistake for that was I did take that drink. I did think I was okay to have that drink. And learned very quickly that no, you just go where you were, you know? And I'm glad I did get to AA and that it has worked so far 9 years in almost 9 months. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my sobriety. I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat it. I had urges, like they call it the pink cloud. I had that for a while. I quit going down the alcohol aisle. I quit listening to music that had alcohol in it. I quit going into the bars. Um, I mean, I did all of that. I just blocked it out. I wouldn't go around people that were drinking because at that point in time, I was worried I'm gonna go right back to it, which it wouldn't have been somebody else's fault. That would have been my fault. And I'm just glad I didn't go back to it, and I don't plan to. I can't promise that I'm not going to because I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know what the future holds. And I only have today to say that I'm sober. I have the 24 hours that I am sober. And that's daily. You have to remind yourself daily of that. We have 24 hours of sobriety at a time. And I waited until I was 8 years sober to get my 24-hour coin. I think it was my 8 years. It might have been my 5 or 7. Either way, but yeah, I waited until then to get my 24-hour coin. No, birthing children made my teeth go bye bye. Thank you very much. People are rude. Anyways, there's another one in there. Idiot. I love you too. And I'm going to go ahead and say the Serenity Prayer and get into the tradition or the um, daily reflection. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. July 23rd, I ask God to decide. I pray that you now remove from the from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellow. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 76. Having admitted my powerlessness and made a decision to turn my will and my life over the care of God as I understood Him, I don't decide which defects get removed or the order in which defects get removed, or the time frame in which they get removed. I ask God to decide which defect stands in the way of my usefulness to Him and to others. And then I humbly asked Him to remove them. So right now I'm asking Him to remove them because they're in my chat and let them know it's God's will and not their own. And I will keep praying for them because they need it. I love you guys. Have a safe day and a wonderful week. I'll see you on tomorrow morning after Ava Potterfield and Friends, and then Sunday after that. So I love you guys. Be safe out there. Be kind.